Hey guys, I'm Joey. I'm studying nursing.
Hi guys, I'm Maria Jose and I study physical therapy, and today we are going to see 4 types of research methods in articles.
Something that is very important when it comes to researching is the coherence, the title, the objective, and the methodology, and the results and the conclusions.
Let's see some examples.
To begin, we're going to start with experimental methodology. The study is the effect of the baby massages in attachments between mother and their neighbors. As we know, in experimental studies, we need to find the effect of the intervention, and they have comparative group. In this case, we need to find what is the effect of the connections between the mother and her baby with the massage. The objective is to examine the effect of baby massages on attachments between mother and their newborns. Here we can see the coherence between the titles and the objective. Let's move on to the methodology. We can see words or phrases that can help us to establish that is experimental study. The first one is showing you that there are two groups to compare. One with 57 people that will be experiment on, and one with 60 that used for the control. And the second one are referring to the intervention to was done to the group of the experimental.
Now let's move on to a more descriptive study. Muscle action of the pelvic floor in healthy and puerperal women in the pelvic floor dysfunction. What we have to remember is that the descriptive studies are characterized by describing a specific group of people whom have or don't have a certain condition. Generally speaking, these are the beginning of future investigations on the subject. They are the baseline of knowledge that impulses future quantitative research. Here we can see that the study matches the objective perfectly, and they both indicate that there will be no intervention, only a characterization and intervention of this woman. And by seeing the methodology, we can see that the research was conducted with a work group of 170 women. There was no intervention, and the investigators simply observed and analyzed the characteristics of the muscles in the pelvic floor in one group.
In qualitative methodology, you obtain information to construct knowledge through the observation and the analysis of people behavior about what they say. An example of article is experiences of Iranian nursing studies regarding to the clinical learning environment. The objective is writing back the same way as the title, but the verb explained is added. Hence, in the article, we need to explain the experience of the nurse. It's important to know that the word experience makes us think almost immediately in a qualitative methodology. Hence, experience cannot be objectified on themselves. In the methodology, we can also find key points. The first one is that the sample of the quality studies are smaller than the quantity of studies, since the method of gathering information are different and do not intend to generalize. And the second one, the information was recollected for a semi-structured interview, which means that are guiding questions that are opened are what people think and feel.
Lastly, to say goodbye, let's see an observational and retrospective study known as a systematic review. These type of studies use an advanced search system to recollect information about a condition or a specific procedure. And that way, they can recollect all the information on the specific topic up to now. In this article, staff and patients have mostly positive perceptions of physiotherapists working in emergency departments. A systematic review, we can infer the observational element since there is no indication of a treatment, and the retrospective element due to it being a compilation of documents published before this particular study. Once we see the investigation, we see the continuity between the results, the objective, and the title of the study. And now that we've seen the methodology, we can conclude that the investigation was made by reviewing many articles through predetermined search engines and using keywords. This particular study was analytical and it used themed and previous studies from before. It is very important to notice that the objective of the systematical reviews is not the act of searching articles in and of itself. It's actually a bigger methodological objective that is reached through this review. In other words, it's easy to think just by reading the objective or the research question that the main source of information are the people. But once we check the method, we see that the main source are previous studies.
And just like that, we saw 4 types of research method that we realized. From the research investigation, we can develop concise and logical study.
Remember that it's of vital importance that you guys check your research title to see if the descriptive words that you use are projective not only in the methodological design, but also in the objective, the question, and the method itself.